So this time I'm actually going to look at some of the built-in supports within the iPad in the iOS that can support with writing. So if I go to accessibility, if it's an older iPad, it would be general accessibility speech, and the newer ones, accessibility spoken content. Older iPads might also have fewer of these options available depending on quite how old. The ones we want to look at the moment are the ones within typing feedback. So I've got speak words, speak auto text, and hold to speak predictions all switched on, and I'm going to just show you what these ones are. So you don't actually see anything happening when you turn these on and off. It's only actually when you actually start typing that you'll see some of these effects taking place. So I'll switch to something where I can type. So I'm going to go into Notes, which I have open. So the hold to speak prediction, that means I can now hear the words in the prediction panel before I select them. So already it's showing 3 words, I, hi, and if. So if I hold down
Hi.
Yeah, so I'll say that word. If I don't want it, I would have to drag my finger off the word up the way so that it's no longer on the word, and then lift my finger off the screen so it doesn't write. Otherwise, if I was to press
Hi.
and then just lift up,
Hi.
it will write it. Um,
There.
so I can hear that word. Oh, that's maybe not the word I'm wanting.
I'm. I'm.
So I can choose that. So that's really useful for the children where they're typing a word. They've maybe written the first couple of letters, and the words look quite similar, and they're maybe struggling to tell which one they're wanting. So that can give them the chance just to check what it is. So hold to speak prediction is a very useful one there. Typing feedback. So
As. Capital I. Type. It. Reads. The. Words. On. The. Space bar. Or. Punctuation. Punctuation.
So anytime I do a space bar or punctuation mark, then it will realize that that word is now complete, and it will try and read it out. So that's really useful if the child is going to be making some mistakes and they can hear, oh, it doesn't sound quite right. I'll maybe check what that is. So obviously, if it's going to happen in every single word, then it's not going to be that helpful. It's going to get them quite dispirited. But if it's just sort of occasional words, then that can actually be very useful. Some of the things, because I've got the autocorrect, it's not really going to make much difference because the speak autocorrect, because it's speaking all the words. But if I had that turned off, then for instance, if I was to type a word but didn't use a capital letter at the beginning, then
The.
it's not automatically correcting that, maybe because I directly told it not to. Let's try if I was to spell the
Take.
where.
The.
Okay, so that was an autocorrect. So there, if I had not on speak words, I would speak just those words, which is automatically correcting. So that can be also really useful, just for people who are maybe reversing the I and the E, or making the same sort of similar mistakes, and they're like, oh yeah, okay, or oh, I'm forgetting to use the capital. So that can be quite useful. So it probably would pick it up for maybe names and stuff. Then it would probably autocorrect for common names. So those are some really nice features which are available within the typing feedback. Another obvious one which I should talk about if we were looking at writing support is using Siri. So Siri, if you've got it enabled, so that's anything other than iPad 1 and 2 had Siri available from iPad mini onwards. When enabled, you see this microphone option just sitting next to the spacebar. I'll show you in a minute just how to switch that on and off, but so by default it should hopefully be enabled. So I'll press this.
Capital N O punctuation.
Okay. But then yes, they can go back and edit it, adding the punctuation where it's needed. You can speak relatively fast, as you saw there, and with each successive generation of iPads, they tend to get better. I think it's maybe in the iOS they probably have some of the codecs, although most of it is probably done online through their main servers. But it does seem to get better with time. So even if you've tried it in the past, it's something to look back at every so often and just check just to see if it's picking up children's voices better. I also find any of the speech, the voice to text programs struggle a little bit more with children's voices. I think it's the higher registers can be a bit harder for the programs to understand. So as the child gets older and their voice gets deeper, you'll often find that the programs will cope with their voices better. Another benefit you have from using voice to text is it does help the children to speak more clearly. They get used to having to enunciate the words better, to have pauses, to speak slowly and clearly. So that in itself is actually a very beneficial thing to have. I would definitely recommend having voice to text available for larger pieces of work for the whole class. So it doesn't actually single out one of the children where it's a sort of more of a necessary support because of dyslexia or something where they're really, really struggling to write. But if you make it more available, you'll find that a lot more work can get done because you can speak obviously much faster than you write. So you'll find children will produce much, much more work, which is a lot more evidence for you to try and find those marks, find the structures that you're looking for. So definitely try this as something with the whole class. Use the supports, the other ones like speak words, speak predictions, have those available, but probably with like headsets so that the children who are using these supports don't feel that people are looking every time that their iPad's speaking to them. So they can be working away with earbuds in. Hardly anyone will notice, but they're getting the benefit of that support. Also, if you're using the voice to text, having a, a microphone on the headset actually will improve the accuracy much more because the microphone built into the iPad is quite poor. So these are all things to bear in mind. But yeah, those are free built-in supports already in your iPad, so definitely worth a look. Hopefully this has been helpful. Thanks.